Paying through the nose to supersize your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Our idiom or expression, our financial idiom for today is paying through the nose. This is one of those idioms that has kind of an interesting, but maybe a little bit gross connotation or origin to it. In the 9th century, the Danes imposed a tax in Ireland, and they called it a nose tax because they counted noses, and there was an excessive, exorbitant amount charged per nose. And if you didn't pay your nose tax, it's said, but there isn't really any documented proof that your nose was slit. So you didn't pay the tax, they'd slit your nose as punishment. Yikes, right? I don't know if that meant cut it off, because I don't think they would cut it off, but they would at least slit it. Maybe they'd slit it down the middle and you'd have a big old scar so people knew you didn't pay your taxes. I don't know. There wasn't any documented evidence of that back to the 9th century. But it still sounds like a gruesome practice anyway. So what does this have to do with growing and supersizing our business? Now, I have definitely heard, and I don't know if I've used the expression pay through the nose, but I've definitely heard it throughout my personal and business life, right? Whenever we pay too much for something, or when we feel like we're being charged too much, or extortion or our protection money is what I thought of, like mobby, like I have so much experience with mob things. That came to mind. But also when we have extra taxes, extra fees, extra licensing things required, and those are often imposed by the government because other bigger businesses that are already established in an industry want to minimize the number of people and increase the barrier to entry in different industries. And so they will support, because they're already making plenty of money, high taxes, high licensing fees, high requirements, so that it's harder for people to get into a business. I think of FDA, OSHA, USDA. A lot of manufacturing and different industries have a lot of rules and regulations, and they are actually co-created with some of the biggest companies in those industries. You can argue with me if you want on that, but I have personal firsthand experience with that and inside information. So whether it's right or wrong in your mind, it is what it is. It's what's happened over time. It's like the pharmaceutical industry and the FDA are best buds, right? The FDA is supposed to be overseeing the pharmaceutical industry, but the pharmaceutical industry does almost all their own testing and all their own proof of and evidence collecting in order to be approved by the FDA. Same happens with the food industry and different industries like that. So barriers to entry. Are you running against, as a newer business or a business that's growing and supersizing, running up against some of these barriers? All you have to do is find different ways around them, because there's always a way to achieve whatever it is that you want if you're committed to your long-term goals and objectives for your business. I like to do an audit of my business and other people's businesses as we get working together, so that we can see where we might be paying too much for things, right? Because one of the things that prevents us from growing as quickly as we want to grow is if we are lacking in processes and areas that we want to pay our way, right? We want to pay our fair share, just like with taxes, but we don't want to pay extra or a lot extra, because that takes away from what we're trying to create in the world and from our bottom line. Inflation, to me, is an example of having to pay exorbitant fees for things that may or may not make sense, or exorbitant prices for things that may or may not make sense. When gas prices went up in the past, instead of altering prices, a lot of companies that I did business with would just add a surcharge or a gas charge, and it was super frustrating, because to me that's part of everything that should go into the cost of doing business, and all of your, and again, just my opinion, the way you present your billing. I saw something the other day where somebody got charged extra money for crying at a doctor appointment. I don't know about you, but if I got a bill that had called out that I cried, and I had to pay $40 for that for a doctor, I would be mad. I would be calling and questioning that. So, and yeah, it's only $40, but guess what? It's those things that we don't notice that add up over time. So I suggest, auditing and paying attention to your bidding process, paying attention to bills and things that you just pay automatically without considering them, because sometimes those have added fees and exorbitant fees. Think ATM fees. You have to pay to use your own money. I remember, and I don't know if banks are still doing this because I don't really pay attention, but for a while before COVID, if you took cash out of your own bank account, or if you put cash in, they would charge you for that. They would charge you for change. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But every business is out looking for ways to make money, and we don't have to do business with anybody that doesn't feel right for us. So extra taxes, licensing fees, audit for unnecessary expenses or fees. Remember, pretty much anything in business is negotiable. It never hurts to ask. The answer might still be no, but if you ask and the answer is, okay, we can give you 2% off if you pay in 10 days or whatever, why not take advantage of that to help grow and supersize and build your business? One other thing is, a lot of times, and all of these things, whether they're legal or illegal, bribes are a way to speed up a process, right? Extortion and protection money is to speed up a process of growing your business without your business being destroyed by outside forces, right? So all of these things can be looked at from both sides, but often we want to pay for speed in terms of our experience and education, or to expedite things. So there might be an expedition fee, right? Think about an expedition fee. Paying for coaching and training and learning from other people's experiences and masterminds is a great example of paying for speed. And sometimes those programs cost a lot, but the transformation and the speed at which we get the transformation we're looking for is much quicker, and therefore it's a much more profitable investment in our time and energy and money than a lot of other things might be. All right, love to know your experience with this particular idiom or expression, paying through the nose. I try not to pay through the nose for anything. No matter what, I always try to approach things from does this make sense? Is this the right thing to do? Does this feel right to me? And is this economically wise decision, choice, etc.? No matter how much money I have, I don't like wasting it and just flushing it down the toilet, right? I think it's why I don't have a boat. All right, if I can help you anyway, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow for another financial idiom for the month of May. Have an awesome day.